My name is Nikolaus. I work with Finimize. I'm the VP Business Development there. Means I'm looking after everything that's to do with user growth and monetization. And before I explain what we do and how we get people from zero to invested, let me start with a little story. It's a very personal story, actually, of our founder, and it kind of shows you how to get to an idea like that. Max, as the founder, he started Finimize about 3 years ago, and 3.5 years ago, he exited his first company. It was an e-commerce company based out of Zurich, and he made some money with that, and he wanted to invest this money. So, obvious first thing to do is obviously hit Google and ask Google, like, how to invest my money, or where can I invest my money? Didn't really work, lots of options, super complicated, and no help. Second thing he did is he went to his bank and asked them, hey, can you help me to invest my money? They didn't even ask him what he's actually interested in. Do you want to go for sustainable investments, emerging markets? Do you want to go for tech growth, or whatever it is? Not real interest. It was more of a sales pitch, and he felt I can't really trust them when it comes to investing my money. On the back of that, then met with a couple of independent financial advisors, got a lot of brochures, a lot of sales pitches again, and felt it's just not genuine, it's not right for me, and maybe I really have to figure this out for myself. Bear in mind, Max studied economics. He's got a master's degree in economics, so he's very much financially literate and knows what he's talking about, but still struggled to get his head around investing. He talked to his friends. They come from the same backgrounds. They work in banks, etc. They couldn't really help him. And he felt, okay, maybe I have to first get my head around what's happening in the markets and how investing actually works. And it's not just Max that felt that there is a need for that. Actually, last year in October, Larry Fink made the statement and said, I believe the biggest problem we have in the world is financial literacy. We need to use technology to embrace it. Well, that's what we do at Finimize. Finimize, we provide you with everything you need, all the information and tools you need in order to become financially savvy, in order to become invested. Thereby, we follow a 3-pillar approach. So the first bit is, obviously, you need to know about what's going on in the markets, otherwise you can't invest, you just don't know what's going on. The second bit is then you have to understand how investing actually works, what investing opportunities are out there, and what can I actually do with that. And as a third step, once you know what's going on in the markets, once you understand how investing works, third step is obviously that you choose the right providers for investing needs. We take all these 3 bits together in the Finimize app. Today we're looking at a community of daily users of about 400,000. 62% of our users are invested, and the average income in our community is $120,000. This was our first product. The Finimize newsletter still exists today. Massive engagement. We're looking at open rates between 35 to 40%. So now what is it? It's a 3-minute read, gives you the 2 major financial stories of the day without any financial jargon, straight to the point, bite-sized information. And it's structured in a way where we say, hey, what's going on out there? Why is this important? And why should you actually care? And really resonates with a very, very large audience. All of our content, by the way, is produced in-house. So our content writers are former researchers at Goldman Sachs, former researchers at Bloomberg, Barclays, etc. Now, the main product, the Finimize app that brings together market news, financial education, and on the back of that, introduces you to the investing opportunities, to the providers, and you can choose, and they're really aligned with your investing needs. And I've got a little video of that. I hope it plays. It does. So yeah, that's the Finimize app. Again, brings together these 3 pillars that I was talking about earlier. We launched it last year in June. Since then, have been featured by Apple twice in the UK App Store. first last year, I think 2 weeks after launch, as one of the 5 new apps they love, and at the beginning of the year as app of the day. That obviously helped us to gain traction for the app, got us a couple of thousand users onto the app, and it was a good starting point, really. At the moment, when it comes to the app, we're more like looking, and obviously I'm telling you that because I come from a business development perspective, we're now trying to get our newsletter users onto the app and growing it from there, also growing the app directly. Now, the center, or like the heart of the app, is obviously the content which we produce in-house. And this content really caters to all sorts of individuals, really not dependent on like what's their level of financial literacy. So we have content for our basic users, like for people, well, it's basic content for our users that never really like got their head around finance, not really ever did any kind of like investing. You would find content pieces such as investing basics, like really to ease people in. Then we have core content, and that's really more around investing opportunities. For example, investing into art, investing into property, investing into stocks, and like really like kind of identifying how do I do that, what's the background, how does the value chain actually work. And then we have also pro content, and this is for more like proficient people. They're already investors, they want to improve their investing skills, and there will be something like technical chart analysis. And then I've got a next slide that kind of like really shows you a little bit the content bits that I'm talking about. Packs, by the way, and that's like the last point for the slide, work in a way. So we noticed that people obviously, they can only devote a certain amount of time to kind of like educating themselves on a daily basis. So how we structured our content here is in a way that you can either binge it, and then like, yeah, it takes you 10 minutes to get your head around how I can invest my money into property, for example. Or you just go via 5 sessions, go day by day by day, invest 2 minutes every day, and over the time you become financially savvy. For packs in general, we follow this like user-driven approach. So our users can submit suggestions of like content that they want to learn more about. So investing into property was actually something that was a user pull. It was not something that we just went out there and said like, okay, people need to know about that. We then partnered with a platform they're called Propio, to really like get content produced that is from a source that doesn't do anything else than like kind of like optimizing how you can invest into property. So this is how we come up with our content. And again, you see the 3 content layers. We're talking about basic content, investing basics, personal finance, which should really concern all of us, money management, etc. Core are the investing opportunities, such as art, but also looking into things like portfolio construction. And then for our pro investors, ETFs, smart beta is a huge topic specifically now at the moment. Behavioral investing, smart borrowing, even angel investing. So this is what we cover in our app from a content perspective. Not from a news perspective, this is really educating people, not advising people, educating people how investing works, and thereby empowering them to become their own financial advisors. Now, again, I'm running the business development at Finimize, so my biggest concern is how can we grow our audience? How do we monetize? And I mean, we're here in the Rising Star stage, so I thought I'm going to make this a little bit more of a startup talk, not overwhelm you with stats and where we want to be in like X years' time. I mean, we want to become the TripAdvisor for finance, that's for sure. But I thought I should talk a little bit about how we monetize and how we grow our user base as a startup. And at the end of the day, it all evolves around partnerships. When we do partnerships, or regardless of pretty much what we do, being it monetization, but also growth partnerships, what's at the heart is adding value to our users. Really, really important. Think about it. We could bring in an ad partner, they promote their product, it's not interesting for our users, they jump off our product. It's not interesting. We lose them. Why would you partner with someone like that? We're trying to identify partners that really add value to our user. And I think one of the examples, this is a very recent example, is where we partnered with the Bank of England. So it turns out a lot of people actually have no clue about what central banks do. However, this is really, really important to understand if you want to invest your money. So naturally, the best source is just to go to a central bank and ask them, hey, how does it work? Then we sort of like build a content piece around that in collaboration with this partner. In this context, central bank was interested in getting more awareness for their brand, building trust within a very young audience. I mean, if you look at our audience, focus young professionals, age bracket probably 25 to 35. This is where most of them sit in. And that's the sort of content that we then produce. Like first going very, very basic, explaining what does a central bank do, why are interest rates important, and how do they kind of like control them. And then really like going down until you get to a point where you really say, okay, this is a central bank, this is what they do, this is why it's important, and this is how I kind of like bring this in when I invest my money. We also work with financial institutions. So this is a partnership that we're running at the moment via the newsletter. Also building content together with them, working together with Investec Click and Invest to be more specific. For them, the incentive is to push their robo-advisor service. For us, the incentive is that we teach our users more about personal finance, and they've got loads of experience in this field. So we produce the content piece together and really like walking our users through the different aspects of personal finance, being it budgeting, be it saving, being it investing, being it taxes. All these bits are really important to understand before you start investing. For our partner, and this is a promotional partnership, not so much a growth partnership, and it shows you also how we, for example, monetize. They want to get their product out there. And they want to get a product out there in like a very affluent, promote their product towards a very affluent audience, affluent millennials that have built up savings where the product really sits right. Another example is Masterworks. And as I mentioned before, when we build this content for our users, oh, I ran out of time. Give me 2 seconds. When we build this content for our users, we always tend to go to those people, to those partners that really like are innovative and really trying to get their head around the space. This is a very, very good example. Fine art investing, usually very much close to people that have a couple of millions on their bank account. With Masterworks, you can buy a share in a Van Gogh piece and actually benefit from this piece of work or like this piece of artwork increasing in value. Thanks for your time.